Hey, Lions Nation! We're back with another exclusive video bringing you all the latest news about our beloved Detroit Lions. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss anything about the team. Now, let's get into the news. The news didn't break, it detonated. ESPN's report rippled through the league like a seismic wave, rattling through front offices, shaking coordinators awake in the dead of night, and sending analysts scrambling for explanations that didn't exist. Detroit hadn't just made a trade, it had carved open the landscape of the NFL and rewritten the physics that governed defensive backfields. Patrick SURTAIN II, this universe's version of him, a sentinel forged from obsidian discipline and shadow-forged precision, was now a Detroit Lion. The announcement appeared first as a headline, but even the pixels on the screen seemed to vibrate, as if reluctant to contain the magnitude of what the Lions had summoned in this world. SURTAIN wasn't simply a cornerback, he was a phenomenon wrapped in human skin. A presence so suffocating that offensive coordinators swore their playbooks grew lighter whenever he lined up across from their receivers, and now he belonged to Detroit. When he arrived at Ford Field, the lights didn't flicker, they bowed. The entire stadium, a sleeping giant forged of steel and pride, seemed to awaken with a slow, resonant hum that grew stronger with each step he took inside its walls. Staff members felt goosebumps rise on their arms, not because they were cold, but because the air thickened around him as though gravity itself recognized a new anchor. The trade package, those draft picks, those assets were whispered about like offerings laid at the altar of some ancient deity. But the true cost, the true exchange, was something far deeper. Detroit had traded for dominion. SURTAIN walked through the corridors with movements too controlled to be casual, too predatory to be polite. Teammates stopped mid-conversation, their words dissolving into silence as he passed. Some nodded, some swallowed hard, others simply watched the way shadows clung to him, stretching longer and darker than physics allowed. When he reached the defensive backs room, the lights dimmed. Humming as if in reverence, film flickered on the projector screen, showing clips of his previous battles. Receivers swallowed by darkness, routes erased before they began, quarterbacks hesitating the moment they spotted him lurking in the periphery. And then the screen glitched, static crawling across the image, almost as though the footage itself could not contain him. Dan Campbell entered behind him, arms crossed, face carved into determination. "This changes everything," he said, voice echoing through the room with a weight that silenced even the mechanical buzz of the projector. SURTAIN did not answer. He didn't need to. His silence carried the force of a vow. The Lions secondary, once respectable, once rising, now felt like a chamber built to house a storm. The air tasted of iron, electricity, inevitability. The trade hadn't just improved Detroit, it had awakened a force capable of reshaping offenses, distorting passing lanes, fracturing quarterback reads. Somewhere across the league, coaches froze while rewatching the ESPN alert, feeling their throats tighten. They knew what was coming. They recognized the tremor of something monstrous. But Detroit welcomed the darkness with open arms. Before we move on, take a second to drop a like and subscribe. That way, you'll stay up to date with every exclusive Lions update, and you'll even have a chance to win an official Detroit Lions jersey. Let's keep going. His first practice did not start with drills. It started with dread. Ford Field's turf trembled beneath the weight of anticipation, vibrations crawling up through the cleats of every player who dared step onto it. SURTAIN appeared from the tunnel not with swagger, but with a calm so intense it bordered on violent. His helmet hung at his side, black visor reflecting the stadium lights in long, distorted streaks. The receivers who lined up across from him shifted uneasily, adjusting gloves, rolling shoulders, forcing their bodies to ignore the primal instinct screaming inside them to flee. And then the whistle blew. The transformation was immediate. SURTAIN went from stillness to predation in a single step. His movement controlled, precise, devastating. The first receiver tried a quick slant. The route didn't just get covered, it got erased. SURTAIN's hand closed around the passing lane like a trap snapping shut around a limb, and the quarterback pulled the ball down instinctively, terrified of testing him on the next rep. The receiver attempted a fade. SURTAIN didn't run, he warped. His stride consumed space in smooth, lethal arcs, his body mirroring the receiver with inhuman accuracy. When the ball finally left the quarterback's hand, arcing high into the air, SURTAIN rose with the grace of something that belonged in the shadows above the field, not on it. He caught the ball without looking at it, palming it from the air as if plucking a ripe fruit from a branch. Players went silent. Coaches exchanged glances that held more fear than excitement. On the third rep, a veteran receiver tried to taunt him, words low and sharp. Surtain didn't reply. He simply stepped forward, the field dipping slightly as though conceding to his gravity. When the play began, the receiver's bravado dissolved. Surtain's presence pressed against him like the weight of a collapsing building, suffocating, crushing, clinical. The route wilted, the timing shattered. And when the quarterback stubbornly threw the ball anyway, Surtain didn't intercept it, he punished it. His hand struck the ball with a crack loud enough to echo through the empty stands, sending it spiraling into the turf like a wounded animal. Dan Campbell watched, arms folded, expression unreadable, but inside, deep beneath his ribs, he felt it, the savage, visceral satisfaction of a commander who had finally obtained the weapon his army had been missing. The defensive coordinator muttered something under his breath, something that sounded like a prayer. Because this wasn't a player learning a new scheme, this was a predator claiming new territory. And the stadium felt it, the way the air shifted, the way shadows stretched, the way sound seemed to warp around him. Ford Field had hosted legends, heroes, villains, stars, but never something like this. Patrick Surtain was not here to improve the secondary. He was here to redefine it, to turn it into a labyrinth no quarterback could navigate. A battlefield where receivers would lose themselves before they even reached the top of their stems. Across the league, panic spread quietly but rapidly. Analysts argued, fans speculated, quarterbacks watched film in dark rooms and felt their stomachs twist. Detroit had made a trade. Yes, but what they received was not a man, it was inevitability. And when the first game arrived, when Surtain stepped onto the field under the roar of the crowd, the league would finally understand what Detroit already knew. A revolution does not begin with noise, it begins with the quiet arrival of something that cannot be stopped. We bring you the latest Lions news every single day, so make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And of course, drop a comment below with your thoughts on today's news. Your voice makes a difference for Lions Nation. See you in the next video.